Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, welcome back for another video. It is a good day to have a good day, and today is all about the Dyson Airwrap. I'm going to be giving you all of my tips and tricks for how to use it, why it might not be working for you, and how to get your best, most voluminous, healthy looking hair using everybody's favorite styling tool. Alright, so tip number one is to make sure you are prepping your hair. And this is one of those common things that I see with anyone styling hair, whether or not you're simply using a hairdryer and a curling iron or you're using your Airwrap, is you're not putting any product in to help it hold, to help it style, to help it do anything. You're expecting your natural hair to do all of the work and to hold all of the things. And unfortunately, that is not how this works. So there are two products that I love and use on the regular, and it is the Bumble and Bumble Thickening Cream. It is really going to help you get that volume kind of in your hair. I have naturally very fine hair. If I don't do anything to it, it can look very straw-like. And I found over the years that it's one of the biggest things that just helps give that oomph to help me fake the amount of volume in my hair, because otherwise it looks PC when it's in a ponytail. She's not cute. As well as using a heat protectant and a leave-in conditioner. Those are the two products that I love and use the most. I really like the Incommon Magic Mist. It's perfect for prepping your hair as well as restyling days, and it just helps protect your hair. It is made by the founders of the 901 Salon in LA, and it is a gorgeous product that goes a long way. It will last you for forever, but it's a really good thing to help protect your hair no matter what kind of heat you're putting on it. Number two, making sure your hair is dry enough. Now, this is the one thing that I found takes longer with the Airwrap, and I think it's one thing that really kind of frustrates people when you're first starting to use it, is that you feel like your hair never holds a curl, but part of the problem is your hair's not actually dry enough whenever you're going to utilize it. So depending on the thickness of your hair and how quickly it dries, you probably want between 60 and 80% dry, because what you need to happen is when you put your hair on the wrap, you need to make sure that all of the air that you're trying to heat into your hair can have the space to do that, and that it's not drying maybe the bits that are underneath and not even getting to the outside of it, because it's still drying everything at the bottom. So it helps if you go through with a brush beforehand to really just give yourself a bit of drying, even if you aren't straightening it. It can really help make sure that there aren't any patchy spots in your head that are a bit heavier, but you'll notice that it takes a lot longer to dry things, or it maybe just doesn't hold like you want it to, and you'll end up with sections that get really flat really quickly because it wasn't as dry as it needed to be when you started trying to use the Airwrap curling tools on your hair. Number three, use the cool shot. You need to make sure that you are telling your hair that you want it to hold whatever you're doing. Now, I know a lot of people pin their hair after. I tend to just use the cool shot and go from there because I like to let it fall out. But if you aren't using the cool shot, you aren't giving your hair the time for your curls to hold, and they're going to fall out really quickly. Number four, you aren't using the right wand. So one of the things that took me forever to realize is that when you're using the Dyson Airwrap, it is essentially the same as using a curling wand. Curling iron, insert whatever kind of curling tool you want to put here. So you need to treat it the same. So if you're wanting to get big voluminous curls, but maybe you've got super piecey hair and you've got a lot of breakage, what ends up happening, especially with some of the smaller tools and depending on what you're utilizing, is you're really accentuating those fine pieces. So for example, with my hair right now, I have quite a bit of breakage on this side. So if I want to get a nice blown out look, I have to use the fatter of the tools to really just give the volume to it without trying to put the curls in. Because if I start a curl here with a long tool, you just end up with all of the breakage showing up. So using the right tools, but also making sure that you're treating your Dyson Airwrap as a curling wand, which brings me to number five, using your wand in the right way. So depending on how you utilize it, again, it's the same as using a curling wand. So I love the long tool. I mentioned this in a vlog a few weeks ago, but here's the thing. If you're curling with the long wand and you're utilizing it on your hair here, and you're just putting it on the ends and letting it pull in and holding it right there, you're really going to get a lot of the volume at the bottom, versus if you take that, flip it over, and utilize it as like a curling wand, you're really going to get that elongated curl that you're really looking to have, especially if you're wanting a more beachy wave kind of vibe. So making sure that you're utilizing it in the right way. Treat it the same as you would either a curling wand, a curling iron, or the like Velcro curlers that I'm forgetting the name of, but you know, our moms all wore in the 90s and that are making a comeback. You want to kind of be intentional about your curl placement and notice how you're utilizing it is going to be important. Number 6, choose how your hair goes on the wand. So one of the biggest things that I've noticed for myself is that if you're not really mindful about the placement of your curls, especially with the longer wands, you may end up not getting all of the airflow through that you really want. It might just be really compact in certain sections, or especially if you're using the longer pieces, I like to wrap my hair on it first and then turn it on so that I'm getting the placement there. I'm making sure that it's kind of spread out and that my hair has the ability to have that space to really get the air underneath it so I get the curl, versus when you get it really compact and then your curls end up really smushed. So being mindful about that. With a curling iron, you have the ability to kind of have the clamp thin it out and smooth it out. But if you're using the longer wands, you want to be mindful about kind of loosely placing and wrapping the hair on your head before you use it, because if you're just letting it pull, it's going to pull in maybe ways that you don't want it to, and then your curls aren't going to look like you want them to. Number 7, go over spots as needed. You can absolutely spot treat your hair with the Dyson Airwrap. And it's something you can do if you want to do like a day 2 look. Like I said before, I like to use the magic mist on my hair for day 2 to just take a little bit of time to re-spritz the ends to hydrate them, and then I can go back in and essentially recreate this, because for the most part, this is all done on my ends. But if there's a section that you feel like isn't quite as done as you want it to be, or maybe it didn't hold like you wanted it to, maybe you didn't do the cool shot long enough, maybe it just, you weren't thinking when you were doing it and you were kind of going through, I've done that like a million times, you can go back in and fix the spots on your head. Number 8, brush it out from underneath. So especially with the fine hair, if you're really wanting to keep the volume, making sure that you're kind of brushing out from underneath rather than putting all the weight on the top and just pulling it all out. So if you're somebody who has fine hair and you're really struggling to keep anything with the Airwrap, giving yourself the ability to give the volume, kind of push the volume out and brush it out lightly from underneath will be major in helping you hold it. And then the last one, making sure you're using hairspray. Now, I live in Florida. It is very humid here at any given time, and I have definitely learned over the years there's only so many things that the Airwrap can actually accomplish with the fact that it is less heat. You have to really have a lot of heat on your hair if you want it to hold for a really long time outside in the humidity. But if you're not putting any hairspray on it, then you're not giving it any chance. So I can go for several days with a little bit of wave, depending on the workouts that I'm doing, depending on how I'm sleeping with my hair, because it is this weird length. It can be a little more challenging for me to keep it. But if I don't put hairspray on it, specifically the Oribe Hairspray, it's gone by like within the next 2 hours. So making sure that you're using the right products for it makes a huge difference. And my last tip for getting the most out of your Dyson Airwrap is to experiment with it. It's really easy to see people kind of using it online, but it takes a little bit of time to make it work for you. Sometimes you might be using a barrel that's too big for the look that you want. Maybe you're using a barrel that's too small for the look that you want. Give yourself a little bit of time to play with it. I really love the straight brush. I definitely think that for my hair, I also still have to go in with a little bit of a straightener afterwards. The round brush is phenomenal for getting your roots really just kind of fluffed up and in there and really revitalizing your hair for days 2, 3, however many. A little bit of dry shampoo and a round brush is beautiful for revitalizing your roots, but giving yourself the ability to kind of play with it. I used the larger of the barrels today because that is what really helps to give my hair the most volume at this length, especially with the spots in my hair that are a bit more damaged. And I love it. I've used the shorter ones a bit and those are great, but for what I'm looking to hide, as well as what I'm looking to achieve right now, I've had to learn to play with it and just be really honest about the placement of things. So what works for my hair right now while it's at this medium length is the bigger barrel rather than the shorter ones where all of the curls just compact on my head a little bit too much and make me look a little more smooshy than I want to look. Play with it, utilize it, test it, figure out what works for you, but make sure you're playing with all the tools as well as prepping your hair and setting your hair, and it will make all the difference. So that is all I have for you guys today. If you want to be a part of the WSS fam, if you love luxury content and want more luxury in your everyday life, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every week. And let me know in the comments below your favorite tip from today and how you are using the Dyson Airwrap, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.